Both of them could rightly be called symbols of the era. Brigitte Bardot proudly accepted her title as the most attractive woman, while Gunter Sachs, photographer and millionaire, was justifiably called the last playboy. Their feelings flared up at the moment of their first meeting, swirled them in a whirlpool of passion, but extinguished after a short time. However, this did not prevent the couple to keep warm relations even after the divorce. Brigitte Bardot and Gunter Sachs met in the early summer of 1966 in sun-drenched street Tropez. Gunther, a handsome playboy and heir to the Opel empire, was trying to numb the pain of the sudden death of his first wife by squandering his fortune in an endless series of entertainments. Brigitte was enjoying freedom after a failed marriage. Their meeting was like a lightning strike, as Sachs poetically put it. Brigitte confirmed that Gunther had dazzled her. Funny enough, their Rolls Royces were the same model and colour. It even seemed to her as if they looked at the world the same way. The next day was the starting point of their affair. A helicopter hovered over Bardot's house, from which red roses sprinkled. Early in the morning, while Brigitte was asleep, Gunther bought in nice all the flowers, 1,200 pieces to throw at the feet of his beloved. Brigitte collected roses from the yard for another week. From that moment on, they hardly ever parted. Sachs turned Bardot's life into one whole romantic adventure, full of flowers, jewelry, surprises and love. One day in a casino in Monaco, the couple won 1,000,000 francs. The very next day, every centime was spent on gifts for Brigitte. After a month and a half of stormy romance, Gunther proposed, presenting 3 rings at once: diamonds, sapphires, rubies, the colors of the French flag. On July 14, 1966, the lovers were married in Las Vegas. As Sachs himself said, he married the symbol of France on the most important day for the French. The ceremony took only 8 minutes. She wore an incredible white mini, and he wore barefoot loafers and a black hooded cape, from under which he could see a shirt unbuttoned almost to the waist. Immediately after checking in, they flew to Tahiti on the plane of Senator Edward Kennedy, who was happy to do such a small favour for the famous newlyweds. Their honeymoon in Tahiti turned out to be their last happy time. The passion subsided, and it became clear that Sachs and Bardot were completely different people with opposite goals. Brigitte was tired of fame, fuss, paparazzi pursuit. She wanted a quiet family happiness in some nice estate. Gunther was not going to change his habits. He needed a cycle of events, endless travel, change of surroundings and scenery, and with Brigitte's help he had just reached a new level of acquaintance. They never lived together again, each returned to his former occupations. The gap between them grew. In the relationship interfered with her filming, his travels, other people and hobbies. October 1, 1969, the couple quietly divorced. He, too generous to belong to one woman all his life. She, too beautiful to wait for one man all his life. Gunther almost immediately married for the 3rd time, and Brigitte was left alone. She already realized that men and the glory of the screen star, not what she really needs. For some time, she still devoted to the movie, and in 1973, fully immersed in the cause of animal protection. 10 years after the divorce, on October 1, 1979, Gunther gave Brigitte a ring with a huge, almost 9-carat diamond worth 1,200,000 francs. The story goes that it was a thank you for refusing to divide the Sachs fortune in the divorce. But 10 years is too long for that kind of gratitude. Gunther himself did not clarify anything. 1 year with Brigitte is equal to 10 with anyone else, he said. Perhaps he still loved his symbol of France. On June 17, 1987, Sachs saw his gift at a rummage sale. The ex-wife had auctioned off not only it, but also 3 wedding rings, dresses, photographs and other items, 116 items in all, a fifth of her possessions, to raise 3 million francs $500, to formalize her animal welfare foundation. I gave my beauty and youth to men, Brigitte said before the auction began. And now I give my wisdom and experience, the best I have, to animals. Her soul was far more beautiful than her body and face. When Bardot entered the auditorium before the auction began, 100 people stood to applaud her for a full 5 minutes. I'm happy to part with what I have, And that's the most beautiful thing, because nothing has more value than the life of an animal. Long live the foundation, she shouted to a round of applause. The auction ended perfectly. The diamond managed to sell for $213,000, the wedding tricolor for $7,700. In total, approximately $580,000 was raised. Brigitte was jubilant, in the heat of selling even the auction gavel. The next day, Gunther returned all of her rings to his ex-wife in case the animals ever needed help again. Yes, he was joking, but apparently he just didn't want to leave Brigitte without the symbols of his love, and bought back the jewelry to give to her again. At that moment, she sincerely regretted that their romance was so fleeting. No man in the life of the actress the before nor after Gunther was capable of such deeds. Her ex-husband continued to support Bardot by sponsoring her foundation until the end of his life. But on May 7, 2011, 78-year-old Gunter Sachs took his own life. The fatal gunshot rang out in Gunther's chalet in Switzerland. The investigation did not reveal any reasons that could explain such a deed. Gunter Sachs's acquaintances suggested that he simply did not wait for the suffering that old age brings. He was frightened by the rapid progression of Alzheimer's disease and did not want to wait for the day when he would not be able to control his life. A spokesman for the Bardot Foundation after the news of the incident said the actress was extremely depressed about the death of her ex-husband and true friend.